Okay, so let's give this a shot. So let me try to make this as simple as possible, and hopefully this is working audio wise. So let's say I want to make a butterfly. Here's two objects. I got a butterfly and I have a flower. I can't create lines. I can only create shapes because I'm cutting shapes out. So the first step you want to do is, these are thumbnails, right? Thumbnails. Now I want to do a rough draft. Okay, and so I have a big background sheet of paper, and then I have another sheet of paper on top of that, right? And in the case of the butterfly, I put it here at the edge, and so I'm just working out the details, and I've got big wings and the back part, and I know that once I cut this out, let's suggest the background's blue, okay? So I know the background's all blue, and this piece of paper is orange, right? Once I cut this piece of orange out, I then have to flip it over here and I attach it here. Okay, so now I have both sides of the butterfly. Since it was orange here and I cut it out and attached it over here, this part is now orange. And since there's nothing here, all you get is the background color here, which is the blue. Right? And that's the simplest way I can do it. I can put flowers here if I want. If I cut a flower out here, I need to move it over here. Wait, I'm sorry. Scratch that. I can't cut it out of the background. I have to cut it out here. I cut it out here. And once I remove that orange part, it's all blue. Then I put that orange part over here. I can then cut out the centerpiece and move the centerpiece back. So now I have the orange centerpiece. And once I cut it out, once again, it's the background. And I can do the same thing with the stems, with the leaves. They're all shapes. I can't cut out lines. So let me try to demonstrate as quick as I can. In the case of the orange and blue that we already have, why don't I take an orange piece of paper, and I have a blue piece of paper here. I can move all this stuff out of the way. Okay, so let's say that's about half right there. I can bring that to my cutting mat and cut it. Notice how I drag it along. Remember, don't hold it up top like this. It'll only rip the paper. You got to keep it nice low like this and pull it towards you. And that's how you get a nice cut. If you try to hold it up like this, what happens is the paper rips. You can see it ripping. It doesn't work. Okay. So now, half my paper, just like the drawing, blue background, orange piece of paper. That's where I'm at, okay? Try to put it pretty close to the middle. So now, what do I have to work with? And I wish I had a regular pencil here, but I want to cut out shapes. So I can't cut out this full outline. That's kind of pointless. I'd rather cut out shapes. So why don't I cut out the head and the body and the tail, whatever that consists of. And then I can cut out a wing. And I can cut out the other wing and that tail thing that butterflies have. Okay, so you see it. Shape, 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 shape. I have all shapes. Now, I don't cut on top of my background. I cut on top of the mat. And now I can take this and cut out the shapes. Cut out the shapes. There's a shape. And here's a shape. And I'm going quick, obviously. There's two shapes. Here's another shape. Here's another. Make sure it's on top of the cutting mat. Don't go off the cutting mat. Cut my tables. one more shape here. Okay, I cut out the different shapes. A little stuck there. I didn't want to break that, but I did. Okay, so once again, my orange piece stays here. The bigger piece, the smaller pieces move over. This piece came from right here. It gets flipped over and put right there. This piece was cut out of here, gets flipped over. It helps to have small hands. And it's put there. This piece got cut out there and is put right there. This piece goes down here. And this piece was up here and gets flipped over and put right here. So now I have a butterfly. It mirrors it, and I have a butterfly. Now, let's say I want more detail. This is kind of boring. It's a little flat. I want, you know, some more veining in these things. Okay. Well, I have the orange piece here. Let's say I want that cut out. Okay. Once again, pick that piece up. I haven't glued anything down yet. I have my cutting board. And I'd be much more precise cutting, by the way. I'm just trying to do this as quick as possible for the sake of this video, which could get really boring and long. That was terrible. Did I get it? Okay. So I have this wing. I cut out the two shapes. Now I can move this back over here. This other piece. Thought I cut it out, didn't. Move it back over here. And I can do the same thing with this wing. I can move them back and forth, okay? Let's say I wanted a flower down here. So I have the big flower shape. I have the stem, have maybe a leaf, and I have the center of the flower, okay? Once again, cutting board, okay? I should have made this simpler, but you get the idea. I'm trying to do this fast. I'm making a mess of it, but I just want you to get the idea of what I'm doing. Cut that out, okay? Then I'm going to put it over there. I'm going to cut this out, which is the stem. Stem I'm going to put over here. The leaf. Leaf is over here. Once again, you can see, obviously I bumped things. Now I've got a flower on both sides, but what happened to the middle? Well, the middle's still over here on this piece. So now I can pull this off, cut that middle piece. Put my flower back, got that, got the stem. Now I got the center of my flower. So now I have two flowers, I have a butterfly, I can keep going. I can add more detail here, I can add little details here, move them back, I can do something here. Maybe I want to put an antenna or something on it. a proboscis, I think they're called on these things. So you get the idea. So I'm able to convert a simple drawing into my artwork like this. That's you know, two images. This probably counts as 2, maybe 3, depending on how difficult you make it. If you were to go crazy and put lots of patterns back and forth, I might say a butterfly is all you need instead of 6 objects. But what happens is if I don't say 6 objects, you'll make a square and say, okay, I'm done, and that's not really acceptable. So hopefully this video helps you a little bit in how to work this, and I hope you have success.